Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. Today's episode is very unexpected as we found out today about the passing of Bob Kulick. We just wanted to spend a little moment remembering Bob and celebrating his accomplishments in his life. Like we say during the video, take a moment today, listen to some of the gifts Bob left behind for us, whether it's the Paul Stanley 78 album, Alive 2, Side 4, some of the songs on Killers, or just watching some of the videos of the things he was involved in over the years, Kiss or non-Kiss related. I'll take a moment and say thank you to everybody who watches the show, and I'll also say thank you, Bob, for all the great memories for so many years. Now, let's just take a few minutes talking and reminiscing and remembering the great Bob Kulick. All right, hey everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. This is an episode my friend Vincent and I are doing together. We did not expect to be doing today. About 15 minutes ago, Bruce Kulick posted on his Facebook and social media pages about the passing of his brother Bob. I'll read that in a moment, but I just figured I'd say hello, Vin. How you doing today?
Doing well. Considering the circumstance, I guess I'm very sad at the news.
Yeah, I think it was shocking to everybody. And I'll just read that for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. I'll read, what Bruce had posted. I'm heartbroken to have to share the news of the passing of my brother Bob Kulick. His love of music and his talent as a musician and a producer should always be celebrated. I know he's at peace now with my parents, playing his guitar as loud as possible. Please respect the Kulick family's privacy during this very sad time. So I saw that and I just had like shivers go through my spine. I was like, wow, that I did not expect that. You and I have seen Bob perform as recently as, I think it's about 2 years ago at this point at the Indy Expo, right?
Yeah, and it was a great show. I mean, having both Bob and Bruce perform together. We were together back in, 1989?
89, yeah.
For the L'Amour show when he was doing the tour with Paul, and we always heard about Bob, but I just kind of remember first seeing him come on the stage. It was like kind of just really a kind of surreal thing seeing, Paul with other musicians, but
absolutely,
it was kind of cool. You automatically had a connection to this guy because you knew he was part of the Kiss family. You knew that he had auditioned for Kiss and stuff like that. So, I haven't even thought about, Paul and him were very close at one time. I think he lived in Paul's apartment at one point in time, so I'm sure, Paul's hurting just as much as, anybody who was close to him. And,
I read that. I felt horrible for Bruce and for the family and, for the extended Kiss family.
Yeah.
This just broke 15 minutes ago and I'm getting flooded with people sending me messages and I can see tons of people posting it online. I think it's probably a little bit of a tough time for Kiss fans to read this today. But, we just wanted to chat a few minutes and really, I'll say, celebrate the life of Bob and celebrate the things that he did. And, you just mentioned the 89 Paul Stanley show and, I think you hit the nail on the head. I remember being excited. We knew Bob was on the Paul Stanley 78 solo album. We knew that. Always loved his playing on that album. And it was exciting to see him on that tour in 89 where, we didn't know anywhere near as much about Bob as we do maybe today. We knew who he was, but I'd never seen him perform or anything. And to me, it was an exciting time during that tour.
Yeah, and, kind of on a side note to that, we didn't know who the rest of the band was going to be. We didn't know that Eric Singer was going to be the future drummer.
Right, of course.
At that time. So it's kind of a cool part of history.
Yeah.
How could you not listen to that 78 solo album and not think about Bob? I mean, he's literally all over that whole record and did a phenomenal job. And the co-writes that he did with the band and some of the ghost playing that he did at the time, the stuff he did on Killers and, it's a tremendous loss to the music community. I mean, there's no no matter what your opinion is of Bob, in the recent couple of years, he's still, as we would say, he's still family, still part of the Kiss family. And my heart goes out to the Kulick family and again, anybody who was close to Bob and the family. And, you know.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So you mentioned the Ghost playing, and you know, again, you know, Kiss fans have known for years that Bob played on, like you said, Killers. We mentioned the '78 solo album.
Yeah.
You also played on the side 4 of Alive 2, with the exception of
That's
Rocket Ride. You know, so you know, to me, when I think of Bob's work, he also wrote Naked City with I think with Gene on Unmasked. I don't think I'm forgetting any other co-writes, but you know, to me, when I think of Bob's work in Kiss, for whatever reason, one thing that always stood out to me, and I don't love the song, but Larger Than Life, I just always love the guitar playing on that song. For whatever reason, I don't know why. I don't love the song, but the guitar playing is actually what makes me say I a little bit like the song.
Well, you know what? There was never a favorite of mine, but to me, it's aged well. Part of why I love that song is that they were trying, in my estimation, trying to go for like this bottom-esque sound, and Peter Criss's drum playing on that song is tremendous, in my opinion. I love the sound of that song. I love the vibe of that song, and his solo and the way it's mixed, it's so over the top, and I've come to really kind of love that tune, and you know, so I'm glad you bring up that tune. Yeah,
and you know, for me, I forget, I think it was Kiss Cruise 7, if I remember right. Paul Stanley, I had done a private thing with him. You know, we bought a guitar, and you got to see him in a private setting, and he actually did one song with Bob, and if I remember right, it was Ain't Quite Right. I'm pretty certain that was the one. And you know, to me, it was cool to see the two of them together again. You know, we mentioned just now seeing them in '89. To my knowledge, I don't know if the two of them ever performed in an even semi-public setting again after '89. And it was kind of cool to see the two of them on stage. And, you know, to me, I love that Stanley '78 solo album. Love it. Yeah. And Bob's playing is all over that record. You know, I don't care whether it's, you know, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? It's All Right. Goodbye. I mean, it is obviously all over that album. I love that. Love it.
Yeah. Going back to what we were talking about, that L'Amour show, you know, never experiencing anything from the solo, at least for me, the whole solo album. When he opened up, well, he didn't open up, but when he played the opening chord of Tonight You Belong to Me, it was like such an awesome feel. Like you finally got to hear the song. And again, Bob's solo on that song is tremendous. I mean, when you were just talking now, I'm thinking about it, and I was getting chills just thinking about, you know, that's like how in touch I am with, and how intimate I am with Kiss and with other members who were not Kiss, but who played on these records. And I highly encourage, you know, again, to what you say, we're here to celebrate Bob. Go and listen to that '78 solo record.
Absolutely.
You know, go and listen to the whole Alive too. You're not going to be wasting your time listening to the first three sides. Listen to the whole record, you know, because you can really get a kind of good feel for that, you know. If you have it on vinyl, I appreciate that even more. But if you don't, I won't pass judgment. Just listen to the stuff that he played on, and you know, he did a lot of tremendous work with. I know he worked a lot with Lemmy, and he did some other stuff. I think
he did a great album with Wasp also.
Right, and he did the SpongeBob Square. I mean, I'm not as I just know of that stuff, you know. But any of that stuff, listen to anything that he kind of touched, because it was all great work.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you bring that stuff up, because you know, I have 2 kids. They're older now, but we grew up watching SpongeBob from when they were very tiny kids, and you know, that song "Sweet Victory." I knew that song for years, not recognizing that there was a Kiss connection with it at all. So I actually knew that song just from the kids watching the movies, the TV shows, or whatever. And then to hear that Bob was involved in it, wrote the song, you know, played on the song. Actually, Eric Singer's on the song, the original recording as well. It was just like, to me, like a cool, interesting twist where you find Kiss, and in this case, Bob, in areas that you'd never expect in a million years. And I know he was very proud of that song, and very proud. I think it was last year, or maybe the year before, but I think it was last year, where they actually played a small clip of it during the Super Bowl. You know, so you know, he had accomplishments, and I'm glad you brought it up. You know, that went way beyond just the Kiss world. You know, most Kiss fans, obviously, we focus on the Kiss stuff because that's what's near and dear to our hearts. But you know, like you said, whether it was, you know, working with Motorhead, working with Wasp, the SpongeBob stuff, and other things, you know, he definitely was very accomplished through the years, no doubt about it. Yeah.
And you know what? I think one of the biggest things we can learn, and I'm not preachy ever, but there's a life lesson to be learned here. You know, if you have that friend or that relative or that parent who maybe you're at odds with, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, especially in the climate that we're in today, try to take the time to reach out to people who maybe you haven't in a while, because life is really, really fragile and you just never know,
Absolutely.
And to me, it kind of put things in perspective, even for myself. I started thinking like, there's just some things I have to fix in my life.
Right,
Again,
right.
I'm not being preachy, but
Right.
but I think that's what makes it even heavier, this thing, because it's so shocking.
Yep.
There was some things that were swirling around his universe.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
I just hope that the parties involved could have some peace with with Bob's passing, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, very, very, very well said. I want to bring up, one other thing also. I know, as I mentioned before, I've been on, pretty much all the KISS cruises. And I remember it was 2017. I think that was the year that Bob was on with Bruce, and the excitement leading up to that show. And then I remember even when I came home telling you about, hey, Bruce and Bob, they nailed it. And hearing them do songs like All American Man Live was, to me, a highlight of that cruise. And they did like half Bruce's stuff from the 80s, half stuff that Bob was involved in. I think they closed with Goodbye, if I remember right. And I'm doing this off the top of my head because literally we just heard this news and decided to just chat about it for a few minutes. But I think they did All American Man, they did Goodbye, I think they did Tonight You Belong to Me, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me. I mean, all just incredible songs that Bob was involved in. And the second year, Bob was supposed to be there as well. And then, stuff happened. He wasn't. But I was excited to hear him do stuff maybe like Naked City, some of the Killers stuff. That was another one he did. What's the song from Killers that I love?
Nowhere to Run.
Thank you for helping me out there.
Awesome.
So just awesome stuff. So, you said it perfectly. Just check that out. But I'm thankful that after coming off that experience that we got the experience in Indy in 2018. Right. Yeah. Because, I remember saying to you, hey, and you were like, I feel like I'm on the cruise only at the Indy Expo for that.
Yeah. That's one of my concert highlights. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Ace on the same stage with Bob at one point? So
absolutely.
the fact that we had Ace, Bruce, and Bob, right?
Yep. And I think Eric Singer played with them as well.
And Eric Singer. That was, such a cool experience. I think I have video of that too from that day. And I'll go back and watch that now. I'll definitely. And we were on the side with Bob. Literally, if I'm right here, Bob was like right here. We were front row.
Yep.
And I was just watching Bob the whole time. And I don't know if he had his girlfriend there with him or somebody was there, was taking pictures and was kind of really focused on him. But it was kind of see him cool, how he was like interacting with the pictures and stuff like that. It was, it was a great night.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my memories, like you said, we were on the side with Bob, and he just seemed so happy.
Yeah.
He just seemed so excited about this. And I remember, I think it was the Atlanta KISS Expo with Vinnie Vincent. If I got my facts right, I think he was a guest at that expo also. Well, maybe I'm mixing Atlanta and Indy, but I remember him doing a Q&A, I think with Mark Cheney actually, and you could just hear the excitement in his voice about having worked with his brother, the show they did on the cruise, and that's the Bob that I'm remembering today.
Yeah.
And I remember that Indy show very well, and he was smiling from ear to ear and just seemed so excited and so happy. And I'm thankful I got to have those experiences, and those are the memories I'm going to have. And like you said, I'm going to play some of the songs today, but I'm also going to go back and watch some of those videos, and I'm going to think about that because those are he left us with great memories, no doubt about it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, focus on the positive of what Bob's life, celebrate Bob. There's no reason to think about any negative feelings you may have based on opinion or whatnot, or what he said or what he didn't say. Right. Because we don't have them anymore. That's just the bottom line. And,
And the truth is we don't know any of the facts of what was going on.
And we don't. And we don't.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much everything. I don't know. When I first heard it, I was at a loss for words. So I'm surprised I even came up with as much as I did to say because I was in shock. Normally,
you and I will plan what we're going to talk about. We don't discuss the ingredients. We just talk about the meal.
Exactly.
So I'm just glad we were able to share our opinion. And for those people who listen, thank you. Always for giving us your time.
Absolutely. And like you said, go listen to some of the Bob stuff, celebrate his life, go put on side 4 of Alive 2, put on Killers, put on the Paul Stanley solo album, put some of the work he did outside of Kiss on. Listen to Sweet Victory. Maybe that's a really fitting song. At the end of the day, he lived a great life, and that is his victory, and it's pretty sweet, right? And we should all accomplish half of what that man accomplished, and we'd all be ecstatic to do so. So celebrate his accomplishments, celebrate his life. My sincerest condolences to Bruce, to the entire Kulick family, and I could only imagine the hurt they're going through today. And I'm very sorry to hear about all of this, and my condolences to the whole family.
One thing I just want to add, and I don't know if people really think about this, and I'll leave you with this, is, imagine you're the guy who auditioned for Kiss back in the day, but didn't get the job. Now you watch this band explode through the years, knowing that that's going to be, imagine how that, no matter how many times you played on a solo album, you're not that guy. You're not that Kiss doll. So it takes a big person, a big man, to actually have to withstand that.
Yes.
And I don't think people ever think about that.
No, it's what I mean? That's an excellent point. And not only did he withstand that, but he retained a friendship with the band. And it was very, like you said before, he's very close with Paul for quite a number of years. Yeah, right. So just something else I kind of just thought about, It's a showing character. If somebody's going to question his character, think about that. That's all I'm saying. And I'm so glad you brought that up here, because so many people do say they feel he had a little bit of an ego. But you know what? How many people would get runner-up position for being a guitar player in a worldwide band like Kiss, and then still go back and be friends with those people? It says, you said it perfectly, a lot about his character. Very well said. Very well said. And let's not also forget about his time playing in Meatloaf as well, right? So he had some time there. So Diana Ross. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So there's tons of accomplishments this guy has, and it's a sad day, but let's celebrate the man. Let's celebrate the accomplishments, and let's be thankful for what he's left behind for us to be able to listen to. Totally agree. Awesome. Well, Finn, thanks for joining quickly on this one. I wish we had a happier topic to discuss, but Kiss fans, go out there, celebrate the Bob life, celebrate his accomplishments, and thanks as always for watching. Appreciate it. Yep. Thank you. Yep. Bob Kulick, I just want to say thank you for all the great memories you're leaving behind for all of us. I hope you rest in peace, and I will always remember everything you offered to everybody in the rock and roll community. Until we see you again, thanks, Bob.